All right, what's up, everyone? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I am alone today, as I am on most Wednesdays, because there's really not a ton to talk about, honestly. Some lines that are pretty, well, I guess some lines that people are guessing on in San Jose, with Timo Meier out, and that's always fun on a 3-game slate with already not many options. Favorite line is not on San Jose or the Ducks. Man, that's a good question. I mean, like scrolling through this, because we don't know what exactly the Chicago lines are going to be either. If Kane's going to be with Kampf and Cahoon, I mean, it's just really tough. I don't know how you single enter this without playing the Ducks or San Jose, but that's just me. I'm MMEing tonight, so probably gonna roll out a bunch of 3-3 stacks with some correlated defensemen, some uncorrelated. But yeah, we've got an extra hour to sort this out, I guess, is the bright side, because the slate doesn't start until 8 Eastern instead of 7, which I found out a little while ago. Had no clue when writing this morning that it didn't start at. It did not start at 7 Eastern. Stalzlicker, Granley combined 14.5% last night. Was that all they were? I've got this pulled up last night. Got destroyed last night once again. No, I shouldn't say no. I had very little Florida one. Had very little Pittsburgh one. You see the bosses both were close. Osmo and Tom both right near the top, as they always are. Obviously a very good player here as well. And everybody knows testosterone as well. So I actually spent the morning doing a bunch of kind of spotlights on players like Testosterone and Tom and Alex, just to see what they're doing. It's kind of frustrating because you have to go through each of the CSVs and see who they played. So a lot of Control F stuff going on there. But we will be talking more about that kind of stuff, like what are the pros doing? And I don't know. It's always nice to see what they're doing, because they're the ones making all the money, as you see up here. Just a bunch of Sharks in the top 10, and we see this a lot of nights. So always good to see what they're doing, what kind of stacks they're doing. They seem to get the low-owned, high-upside stacks a lot. Yeah. I think they do. Well, I don't want to give away everything, because this is probably going to be like a video in itself on each player. Or maybe do like a couple players when we've got softer slates or shorter slates. But it looks like, especially, I know Alex just does a really good job of diversifying his plays. And then, like Testosterone sometimes goes all in, sometimes he doesn't. So I'm trying to get a feel for him. I think I know kind of what he's going to do tonight. So maybe tomorrow, or I guess we got a big slate tomorrow, maybe Friday. I think I kind of know what to expect as far as his lineup constructions, because he doesn't just roll out 3-3s with correlated D and goalie. He does a few different things that probably separates himself pretty well. Fantasy Labs is a decent contest browser. Yeah, I know I mean, I don't know how it is for NHL. I don't use it, but I find just searching for stuff using Control F in Excel has been okay. It's a little bit time consuming, but this is what I do, and I thought it would be a good way to prepare for today, and just for myself, because I've been getting killed, and I don't know, everybody has rough patches in NHL and in any DFS sport. So just trying to get better, and that's the best way I know how, is to do what all these guys are doing that are making all the money. They're taking down the $12 single entry and 20 max 2. LOL, test always with 5-3 with goalie. 5-3? You mean 4-3? if you count the goalie. I guess it would be a 5. I'm interested in what kind of correlations the Sharks are going with. Well, a lot of them, I know Sluflet, he does not always full stack. He did here, as you can see. But he sometimes runs out power play stacks, which I think is a good way to get different. And then everyone else basically runs out 3 threes. Just even strength stacks. Like you see here, Malkin, Hornquist, Pearson, Barkov, Huberto, and Hoffman. So that was the nuts last night because they fit together. And then the nut defenseman here, Letang, Boychuk. This is why he is the best. Correlated D here for testosterone, but he did not correlate all over the place. So I think that was just more chance in his crunch. I'm assuming he uses Fantasy Cruncher. Basically all the top players do. But yeah, he didn't intentionally correlate goalies or defensemen, I don't think. I can't remember if he did. I was looking at a few different slates for him. They crushed the high stakes too. High stakes 2. Yeah, they crush everything. It's okay. MLB will come soon. Won't have to deal with Lucic anymore. We do have to deal with Lucic tonight, though. So let's talk about tonight. I'll probably talk more about like what pros are doing or what maybe like some stuff that I'm seeing the night before, especially on these shorter slates because we're coming off a Tuesday where it was a big slate, and then tonight we've got 3 games with 5.5 total. So there's not really a ton to talk about. So maybe we can do more of this in the future if you guys like it. If you just want me to kind of go over and tell you what I'm seeing, and I'll prepare just a few notes for some guys. Yeah, it's something that you should probably do, but I know a lot of you don't really have the time, and I do because I get to do this for a living. The STL3 gap in ownership from low to high stakes tonight should be massive, right? Yep. That's what I think. I think you're on to something there, Matt. We could talk about that. So just full disclosure, I haven't done a ton of research on today's slate. As I said, I spent most of my morning and early afternoon going through some other players and kind of predicting what I think they're going to do tonight. Not necessarily like their exact exposures, but what kind of lineups I expect them to run out. And now that I'm more familiar with Fantasy Cruncher, and I know Tom and Alex use Fantasy Cruncher, I want to see if I can kind of predict what they're going to do. All right, so let's go through these games, and then we will maybe play around with some Fantasy Cruncher. 50 minutes. Well, it's not going to take 50 minutes to go through these games. It might take 20, 25 because they are really bad. I'm curious if the guys you're talking about play vastly different lineups at different buy-in levels. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It could be some randomness in which lineups they put in which tournaments. I know Tom does the same 150 I know, like, for baseball, same 150 in all the 150 max tournaments, whereas Alex will make 300 different unique lineups, which is something that probably separates him. You can't really do, there's not 2 150 max tournaments in NHL, so it's tough to know how they're choosing which lineups to put at which stakes. I did research on that for NFL, and it didn't seem drastic. I think just being very good at differentiating themselves, especially Alex, has been a huge part of his success. So, all right, let's do this. Oilers and the Blues, 2.7 implied total for the Oilers, 2.8 for the Blues. We have Cam Talbot in net for the Oilers, Jake Allen for the Blues. We've got McDavid back. McDavid is back tonight, centering Draisaitl and Chiasson, so a line that we've seen have a little bit of data on, and then just an absolute blender for the Blues. So this is another thing. Like, it's one thing that we have a slate where there's just 3 games and not that many options. We don't even have real data on these Blues lines because Tarasenko is down on the 3rd line, quote unquote. O'Reilly centering Robert Thomas and Zach Sanford on the quote-unquote top line. I wish I could tell you what St. Louis is doing. I have no idea. But it's pretty clearly that St. Louis 3 is going to be somewhat popular, and especially at the MME tournaments, everyone that 150s is going to get quite a bit of a chunk of these guys just because it's so cheap. Well, first of all, Tarasenko is pretty cheap himself for a home matchup. And then when you put in Bozak and Maroon, guys that won't come up as great values, but as a trio, they're going to come up as a good value. St. Louis 3 is going to have quite a bit of ownership, so I wouldn't say you're going to be sneaky playing them. They're like the best full line stack for the Blues. I don't think that's a hot take at all. But yeah, I don't think you're being like super sneaky playing them because they're listed as the third line. They're all on the top power play too. So full correlation at both even strength and 5-on-4. Other lines in this game, I mean, it's hard to go away from McDavid if you're playing the Oilers. That line is priced down a little bit. Chason's price has come down a few $100s since the last time we saw these three together. And the Oilers are just so tough now with Hitchcock because they don't play at a pace that's friendly to DFS. Hard to target against them, hard to target them. Like McDavid always in play, and everyone on his line is on the top power play too. So there's good things about it, but they're super expensive. There's just not a ton you can do, even with Chiasson being cheaper than he was a couple games ago. There's just not a ton of options they leave you with, and I don't even think it's that great of a matchup despite St. Louis's struggles on the defensive end. The other line that I'm considering going to for the Oilers, at least getting a decent amount of exposure, like 5, 6, maybe up to 10%, something like that, would be the Nugent Hopkins, Puljujarvi, and Juhar Kara. There's no way I'm saying his name right, but he has min salary, and he actually does. He's not a plug offensive. Like, he can do some things. He had a pretty big goal-scoring streak last year. And with Nugent Hopkins and Puljujarvi on that second line, there is some talent there, plus power play 1 exposure for Nugent Hopkins. Pietrangelo injury is a big deal. I do agree. That's why I think you kind of make the case for that second line as well. There's not much to talk about for McDavid on a 3-game slate. He's going to be popular. His line mates are going to be less popular. Chiasson will maybe be half the ownership of McDavid in that $8 tournament tonight. So McDavid might be 25-30%, but the line as a whole, if you do full stack it, is not going to be that owned. Klefbom is the guy you want on the Oilers. Very clearly, just been playing lights out, shooting a ton, and then for such a short slate, you're probably going to want to look for some secondary options on the Oilers as well. As fillers, Adam Larson would be my favorite guy that blocks shots and plays a decent amount of minutes, especially playing with Klefbom at even strength. Darnell Nurse being on the power play certainly helps, and he's down to 4,100. He's another one that I think is someone that I'll go to that's going to see pretty low ownership for a short slate. Dunn gets a lot of extra 5v5 time with him out. I would think so. I'm trying to remember, does anybody know off the top of their head how it was last year? I know Pietrangelo missed some time, but I can't remember if Dunn saw a big increase in minutes. I mean, it would just make sense that he would get an increase in minutes. I think for Parayko, it really helps. You see Parayko up to 4,800 coming off a big game. B value in Osmo's grades nearly 5K, and I actually agree. I do like Parayko quite a bit. Maybe this opens it up for him to be a little bit more active offensively, and again, coming off that big game. Who knows? But yeah, Parayko, I mean, I don't know if he's a cash play. I don't play much cash, but certainly someone I would consider. Like, I wouldn't just cross him off just because you see the little jump in price. Yeah, PP2. So he's probably a little bit better with that Shen, Perron, Kyrou line. But no problem rolling out Parayko in any stack or by himself. on the Blues. He's probably one of my favorite plays outside of that St. Louis 3 stack that's going to come sneaky chalk, I think. I have no clue what to do with this O'Reilly, Sanford, Thomas line. So I just don't want to talk about them outside of O'Reilly, who, if you're stacking, like if you want to go with O'Reilly instead of one of Maroon or Bozak, if you have the extra salary, that'd be a way to differentiate yourself. Getting just power play one time and stacking him up with Dunn or something, that's fine. But Parayko, the main target for me, and then Edmondson is the other guy that we should probably mention here for 3,700 A value. Another decently high floor guy. The problem is, I mean, you'd say it would be a high floor, but this is Edmonton, and at the pace they're playing, outside of the McDavid line, I don't know how many shot attempts there are going to be for him to actually be able to block. So this one, maybe the least interesting of a very, very uninteresting slate overall. Talbot, 7,800, Allen, 7,200. I say it every time, with the 3-game slate, I'm going to have exposure to every goalie, but Allen will be one of my most heavily owned goalies, but I'm probably going to cut it off at about 33% or maybe 30% for my goalies. That's going to be the absolute max that I will allow them to be in my lineups, because I want exposure to every game if I'm rolling out 50 or 100 lineups. Every goalie, I should say. Just getting in here, do you think these totals are low given the goalies in play here? Yeah. I mean, there's a couple good goalies in the next game we'll talk about, but here, I mean, Allen and Talbot could both be absolute disasters at times, as can most goalies. Maybe these totals are a little low. You don't see 5.5 a lot, but now we're seeing 3 of them on the only 3 games of the slate. Thoughts on Schmaltz as a punt? Wait, Schmaltz? Who am I missing here? I don't see Schmaltz on my screen here. Anyways, I'm sure you're just delayed, so you'll probably get this in a second. But let's go to the next game. Blues third pair. Maybe he's not listed. Yeah, he's probably just not listed on Daily Faceoff. No Schmaltz tonight. I mean, that's what I figured. Jordan Schmaltz, right? I thought maybe Nick Schmaltz, but he got traded. All right. Blackhawks and Ducks. 2.6 implied total for the Blackhawks. 2.9 for the Ducks. Corey Crawford in net for the Hawks confirmed, and then probably John Gibson going for the Ducks. I like Anaheim 1 here a ton. Pretty popular, even with $5,500 Pontus Aberg. I don't know if he's earned a $5,500 price tag, but he has been pretty solid, especially playing with Getzlaf and Raquel. So I'm not really worried about that price. And again, I am full stacking tonight. I'm not worried about any matchup that Getzlaf has to face. This is the best line in the game, especially if we're going to see Kane with Kampf and Cahoon or something stupid like that. I mean, there's just not much else to talk about outside of Anaheim 1. Sprong with Henrique and Ritchie is fine as a filler stack, as is, I guess, Kessler, Cogliano, and Silverberg. They put him back with Kessler, which I don't understand. But it's mostly going to be about Anaheim 1. There's a very good chance they're my highest owned line tonight. There's a very good chance they're the highest owned line on the slate, even with how expensive they are. Has anybody seen anything about Chicago lines? I was looking quickly before the show, but I did not see anything concrete about what they're going to roll out. So, like, if we're going to see this again, Strome to Brinkat with no Kane, then Chicago is just, they're a disaster from a DFS perspective. If you're trying to full line stack, so if you are trying to full line stack, I guess it's going to be Taves, Saad, and Perlini. If not, Kane he's my highest projected player on the slate. He's going to be most people's highest projected player on the slate. And do you really want to play David Camp and Cahoon? Because I really don't. So Chicago's not going to come up much for me outside of some of that Tays top line. Could always just full fade Edmonton, St. Louis to give you max flexibility with all these unknown lines for Chicago, San Jose. That's a pretty smart option, Corsi. It's almost like you play DFS very seriously. Yeah, I think that's a good option. One of these games is going to probably go nuts. It's just be my guess as to who it's going to be. These two defenses in this game are pretty bad, but Anaheim's getting a little bit more healthy, and Chicago is just a disaster. Yoki is on the top power play, at least he's listed there, and he's 3,300. That is the clear slam dunk defenseman for the Hawks. He's cheap. He does shoot a lot, especially on that power play, and he correlates to good players like Kane and DeBrincat and Tays and Saad. So, yep, that's all I really have on the Blackhawks. They're a really tough team to get a hold on outside of them being just terrible. If you're looking for a mega punt, $2,500 defenseman, Manning is right here. Just opens some things up if you are running 4-3-1s or uncorrelated D and want to get an expensive D-man in there. Big fan of Anaheim 1 tonight. Yeah. Yep. I am a big fan of Anaheim 1. Chicago's coach picks his lines out of a hat with names, right? Doesn't it seem that way? Put Strome and DeBrincat with Kane. Maybe I'll just manually edit this on what's it called? On Fantasy Cruncher. Jeez, I'm losing my mind today. This slate just does not get me going at all. So, am I gonna play it though? Yes, I'm definitely gonna play it. All right, defenseman on the Ducks. Montour is the best value at 4,300 for me, and then Lindholm. He's 5,700. He's gonna be pretty low owned because he's not on the top power play, and he's just so much more expensive than Montour. But I actually like Lindholm for 5,700 if you can afford him. He's probably going to be someone you'd have to hand build more to get in, just because he's not going to come up as a great value. But I wouldn't mind going with Anaheim 1 and Lindholm and hope they get their even strength and Lindholm chips in. That would be a pretty good way to get some lineup differentiation than the people that are just going to go Getzlaff, Raquel, Aberg with the defender who is both on power play 1 and $1,400 cheaper. We've got a couple punt options on the Ducks as well. Jacob Larson and Walensky are both minimum salary. For me, it's going to be Larson. Is Walensky even going to be in the lineup? I'm seeing XX next to his name right here. That usually means that there's an error somewhere. Anyways, I would rather play Larson anyways. So, couple $2,500 defensemen right across from each other that are certainly in play. Goalies, man, quite the pricing gap here. Crawford at 6,900. I think if you're multi-entering, you should have some Crawford exposure. I will have a bunch of Crawford exposure. He comes up as one of the best values just because Chicago allows so many shots. They also allow a lot of scoring chances and high danger chances. So in one lineup, probably not getting to Crawford. In MME, I'm probably going to have 15%, 20%, somewhere in that range, because if he does get the win, there's a good chance he sees 30, 35 shots. And as long as he can keep the puck out of the net, he's going to have a big score. Like you saw the other night, I think he had 6 DK points or something and didn't get the win, which only the Blackhawks. Yeah, just real bad team. And then Gibson, $8,400. He's the best goalie on the slate. He's a home favorite. I have no problem paying that price for him. He's probably got, I would say, oddly enough, probably the best shutout potential on the slate. But I'm not predicting a shutout for Gibson. That'd be foolish. He still does have the Ducks in front of him. All right. Hurricanes, Sharks, last game on this epic slate. Oh, it's Mahura Dachkin? What's Mahura's price? I haven't even seen his name today. I'm sure he's cheap. All right. Hurricanes and Sharks. We have Curtis McElhinney going up against Martin Jones, not Aaron Dell. Aaron Dell was expected to start this morning. Jones wasn't at morning skate, and then Jones got confirmed. This one is also a mess on the Sharks side, but first, I guess we'll talk about Carolina lines. The two best ones here are going to be the Stahl-Aho Teravainen line. That's very obvious. They're cheap, and probably going to see some high event matchups with both the Couture line and the Pavelski line. Or maybe Couture and Pavelski are together. You're asking the wrong guy to guess on these lines. Why you'd have Timo skating with Joe Thornton and Marcus Sorensen is beyond me, but that could very well be a possibility. This just makes the slate even worse. It looks like the lines you have there are correct for San Jose. According to Daily Faceoff, Matt, is that where you're looking? Yeah, they did have it that way in practice yesterday. That's true. But then you look at the Sharks also tweeted out that the lines were going to be the normal line. So it's going to be Couture with Hertl, Timo, Pavelski with Donskoy and Kane. So those sites both guess. They guess quite a bit. It's frustrating. Maybe I can post the link of the Sharks Twitter account. Sharks. Just so you guys know that I'm not just making this up. Here you go. What's up, Nihas? Yeah, we'll know at 10:25. That's the thing, right? So if you're gonna try to manage a bunch of lineups tonight, on a 3-game slate, like I'm going to attempt to do, then you're gonna want to stay up late. You're gonna want to be around your computer or phone, if you can do it on your phone, to check the line combos for the Sharks. I'm kind of hoping they change things up from not this, because I think many people, and like some of the pros we're talking about, they will just... Well, first of all, another thing I noticed, when McDavid was scratched, some people didn't even take out McDavid. So I would say if you're like paying attention or you're single entering, that's a big advantage when there are late changes, because a lot of these guys that play a lot of volume don't even bother to check because they're consumed in NBA, which is understandable because they're playing way more volume there. But just a note, you should want some late changes. And I think there's a good chance we get some here. So, so we've got, I don't even know how to really talk about this because there's two different lines. Let's just act like these are the lines: Couture, Pavelski, Hertl. If this is the case, then that line is instantly the best. It's just the way it is. They're going to see favorable matchups. They're probably going to see some time against both the Stahl, Teravainen, and Aho line, which I'm not that scared of, especially on the road. Probably a lot of offensive zone starts if they go up against them. And then the Wallmark, Svechnikov, Martinook line, which is incredible at even strength offensively, but they do give it up defensively quite a bit as well. So not a lot I'm worried to go up against, even though they are very, very good offensively. Whatever line Thornton is a part of is going to be my third favorite on the Sharks. I just rarely get to him. He doesn't shoot the puck. This would be like a spot where you'd probably want to play him because he is 3,700 and playing on the power play. And if he is with Timo, maybe there's some assist equity. Sorensen's not a terrible player either. So it's not a terrible spot for Thornton, but he's a guy I never, ever, ever get to if I'm making limited lineups. This Sumela, Kane, Donskoy pairing, or trio, I should say, I know they have very good numbers together. I will pull them up right now on my other screen here. Yeah. They are creating 66 shot attempts per 60 38.9 shots, over 30 scoring chances. Their high danger chances aren't great, but they are creating a lot of scoring chances. Out of Carlson and Burns, who do you prefer? I mean, for me, it's almost always Burns. He is 1,000 more, but Carlson has been playing just fine. I'm not worried about Carlson at all. So it's a price thing. If you've got the extra 1,000, get up to Burns would be my my advice. But they're both great, or play them both if you want to. You can really play either one with any line. I'm not really worried. Like, I don't worry about playing Burns, even if it is Hurdle, Couture, and Pavelski, and they're all in the top power play. They're all going to skate some with each line. Carolina was outshot by the Kings last game. Total outlier, possible trend with Furland out. Yeah, so they moved. Yeah, Furland was playing really well from like a high danger scoring chances perspective, and that's probably going to hurt them a little bit more than maybe most people think. But you still got two really solid lines on the Hurricanes. They've got a good group of defensemen. Hamilton, Falk is whatever. Slavin is probably a little bit underrated. So I think that's an outlier. I'm not saying they're going to outshoot the Sharks tonight, because the Sharks are a very good team. Chalk Martin Jones sounds like something I don't want to be a part of. Is he going to be Chalk, Corsi? You think that? Because if he is, maybe I should be getting some more. Well, okay, I don't really care about goalie that much, especially not on the 3-game slate. Unless he was going to be like 50%, then I would be hammering Hurricanes, just because Jones can implode at any time. I mean, he's going to be limited for me. He does not come up a lot for me. He's probably going to be limited like below 20%. Gibson should be chalkier. That was my first read, but who knows? I'm not really worried about ownership tonight, especially with all these messed up lines. If you are paying attention and there are some changes and you can swap, you're going to get some funky ownerships on some guys. So this Sumela, Kane, Donskoy line would be my second option after Couture. Hurdle, Pavelski on the Carolina side. It is still Carolina 1 for me. And then what you're seeing on your screen is the third line is a pretty clear second for me. So this Rask, Williams, McGinn, and this Thornton, Meyer, Sorensen are each the third options for me on their respective teams. On D for Carolina, it is either Dougie or Falk. Slavin would be the guy to just play if you're getting way different or you can't afford the extra 900 to get up to Dougie. DeHaan, probably a decent blocked shot spot for DeHaan, who does like to stick his nose in there quite a bit. He is 3,200, floor guy, not a ceiling guy, so don't expect 5 shots on goal or anything like that. But if he can somehow get on the score sheet and block a few shots, that's huge for 3,200, especially on the road here. I doubt Carolina's going to be dominating possession in San Jose here. And then on the Shark side, it is Burns, number 1 for me. Carlson, a very clear second option. And then this guy, Radim Simek, there's no way I'm saying that right either. But he is 2,600 and skating with Brent Burns at even strength. So he is in play, kind of the unknown guy. I don't really know much about him, full disclosure, but I will be having quite a bit of exposure to him just because he is 2,600. And playing with Burns, who's going to play 25 minutes. Canes shoot so much and people still think the Sharks are good. You think the Sharks are bad, Corsi? I mean, they're not great defensively. I don't know. I think the Sharks are good. Sharks are bad. Wow. All right. What's their record? I don't even know. I know they haven't been doing great in the record department, but let's see what their record is. And the record's not everything, obviously. Just this, like, this deep into the season, I guess. 13, 10, and 5. They're bad? Ooh, -4 goal differential. Oh my god, I did not realize how good the Flames record was. Huh. Grossly overrated. The Sharks are definitely really good. Yep. So we've got some difference of opinion here. They have the softest division and they've been stumbling along the entire season. Who has the Sharks so high? I mean, the Sharks were, once they got Karlsson, I think were a pretty trendy Stanley Cup pick. I mean, I think the Sharks are good. I just like a lot of their individual players. Like, I like Evander Kane and Burns and Timo Couture. So, I think the Sharks are fine. They're not bad, guys. Cooked. Anyways, I guess we can still have a Sharks discussion. We got up to 20 more minutes. There is an NBA slate going on tonight. I think there's 10 games, so you're going to want to stick around for that. That starts at 5 Eastern. Laffy and Adam, those two guys will break it down for you. And then I think it's Chris Baggs and Fast Eddie Fear again tonight to take you up to lock. Remember, we've got a late NHL lock tonight. While I'm rambling, if you guys have any questions about the slate or you want to see me build anything using the lineup builder, please let me know, because we're just filling time for another 10-15 minutes until I'm going to get off of here. Or if you want to talk about what certain players do for their lineups or whatever, what I found on Testosterone and Alex and Tom, I'll let you guys know. We also have a promotion going on. So we're giving out, as a gift to everyone out there supporting us, we are giving away a free Awesemo.com NFL premium membership for the rest of the season. And the way you get eligible for this is you go and like this video and comment. Today for the comment, we're going to do, let's see, what should the comment be today? I get to choose these every day, so make sure you give us a like first, and then you're going to comment who is going to score a hat trick tonight on this 3-game slate. Who's going to score a hat trick? Make sure you like it. Make sure you like the actual video, and don't comment in the chat right now. Comment on the actual video once it's done. Who is going to score a hat trick? Then you will be entered in to a contest to win that free NFL membership for the rest of the season, where you would get to use Awesemo's rankings, the ownership projections, which are very valuable. And we do have ownership projections for just the early only and the afternoon only. So, yeah, Hattie, you guys can do that. Someone's going to do something crazy on this slate. And if no one does, it's more about the comments, more about getting you guys engaged than anything. And you comment in order to earn an entry. So I do want to see if anybody can get this right, though. If someone nails a Hattie on this slate with 5.5 over-unders to go around, that would be very, very impressive. But anyways, the comment and the like and the subscription will get you guys entered to win free Awesemo Premium for the rest of the NFL season, which is pretty valuable. And we're doing a giveaway also for up until Christmas Eve, which is pretty cool. 24 days of free stuff. It would be about 97% luck. Yeah, hat trick's always lucky to predict. I mean, who had the Franz Nielsen hat trick last night? Did he get a hat trick? I think he did. Like Sumela, he's of course going to get a hat trick tonight. Actually, the hat trick is probably going to be... Who's the fishiest guy that could get a hat trick? It would be like... Yeah, he did? Oh, God. I saw some ridiculous scores. I pretty much logged out of DK once the Sharks on the mind here. Once the Flames started going berserk. Maroon? Yeah. That would be the guy, right? So, like, you full stack this line, which I'm going to do too. But then the reason you're full stacking this line is because of Tarasenko and because of just correlation. But, like, Maroon's the guy who gets the hattie. Oh, Thornton. I don't know if I could come on the show if Thornton got a hat trick. He did have a 2-goal game, I think, last year. And that was a rough one for me. Got trolled quite a bit, probably deserved it. But there are some Joe Thornton lovers still out there and got like people that want to play him as a one-off in DFS. I'm not one of them. Richie's not terrible as a player. I mean, it would be crazy if you got a hat trick. But again, guys, don't comment. I mean, you can comment in the chat right now, but the way you get entered into the contest for the free NFL Osmo subscription for the rest of the season is comment on the actual video once it's done. So once we're done being live, comment on the video. You will get entered into that as long as you also like the video. So the 2 important steps, comment and give the video a like. And a lot of you did that yesterday, so that was good to see. Henrique hat trick. Wait, Chason out? Where the... All right. Time for Jake searches Twitter. Where are you seeing Chason out? I don't know. I'm not seeing that on anyone's Twitter, which is where I always look. Fake news on Chason. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I would have heard about that. Evander Kane. Oh, dude, Evander Kane. Special place in my heart for that man. He made me a lot of money last year. And he's just really good. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on Chason. Let's do Fantasy Cruncher for DK. You guys can also use the promo code on the screen to get a free week of Osmo.com Premium. As you can see, I'm going through all the ads. I'm just touting our company because we do have a lot of great stuff here. But yeah, use that promo code if you have not already. Hit the ice. Free week of Osmo.com Premium. You get my projections, Osmo's rankings, premium Slack chat, maybe the most important thing outside of the tools, but Osmo also ranks all the stacks as well. So not just player rankings, stack rankings as well. All right. What should we do here? Line 1, line 2. Didn't he have 5 in a game? No, he had 4. I remember that because I won a bunch of money that night. That was a good night. Maybe go like 48. Maybe give it 20% randomness. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put my projections in. We got a small group here. I don't really care if you guys see my projections for today anyways. Where are we at? FC. If you guys haven't uploaded my projections, this is how you do it. You go to, or if you have your own, or you use another site and you have Osmo.com Premium with Fantasy Cruncher, you just paste in there. Wait for it to get the player IDs. It's going to say a bunch of them weren't recognized, but that's not true. Yep, 625. So this is probably what I'm going to roll out. Oh yeah, it's got Aaron Dell in there. Oh, I don't have a projection for Talbot. Oh yeah, I think I still have Koskinen in there. Anyways, we'll just keep that with Talbot. Scam Talbot. Can make a rule. Actually, let's just go uncorrelated goalie. And this is going to go super quick because there's only 3 games. There it is. Tarasenko, Bozak, Maroon. What other lineup builders have you used? How does Cruncher compare? Cruncher is like hands down. It's not even close. The best lineup builder. It just is. I mean, I don't know. Like, we have it on the site, but I would say that, like, I'm being honest, just my honest opinion. I've tried the other ones at other sites, some free ones, and it just doesn't compare. So yeah, it's gonna be I think 95% of people will say that Cruncher, if they've used it, is the best one. It's just how it is. I don't know. Maybe it's not for some people, but it certainly is for me. All right, so yeah, pretty even mix, actually. So we've got Strome, 14. I want a lineup builder that gives more Tarasenko. I mean, so if you wanted to do something different than this is probably a way to give you more Tarasenko. I don't know what my projection is for O'Reilly, but you could go line 1 or power play unit 1. And then I'm sure Tarasenko will come up quite a bit more. Yeah. There you go. You just gotta input what you want. You know, Fantasy Cruncher is only gonna give you out what you put into it, right? So, if you want more Tarasenko, you're gonna have to get creative. If you're not full stacking, full even strength line stacking. So, we want more Tarasenko. Well, you got it. See, like this, it's just one player, or it'd be a couple players, but like, this is going to be so much less owned, this trio, O'Reilly, Maroon, Tarasenko, compared to Bozak, Maroon, Tarasenko. Like, he's, what, $2,200 more expensive than Bozak. You're going to have to sacrifice Burns, but you're still getting 2 solid defensemen if you're stacking this stall line. So that's a perfectly fine way to get different, and FC makes it super easy. Do you have a Taze, Kane, Sod in there together as a line? I'm sure we do. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Right here. Taze, Sod, Kane, with Duncan Keith as the 4-man. There you go. You got McElhinney, correlated D and goalie. So that was unintentional, but that does get spit out. Do I have that in there as a line? I don't know what. Let's see what that. So Taze is line 1 here. Kane is 2. No, I don't. So that came up in just the power play stack. I know that's what they ran when they faced the Ducks in October, if that means anything. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. People are still figuring things out now, but especially in October. There's a lot of moving parts. Yeah, there's quite a bit of, like Taze, DeBrincat, Kane. The only issue I have with this is that there's 0 correlation at even strength unless they switch up their lines. So I would want at least 2 guys together at even strength, and then the third one to be on the power play. Like, I wouldn't want guys from 3 different even strength lines. I know it works sometimes, but you're better off buying a lottery ticket than trying to hit that, I think. Anyways, I'm going to probably get off now so the NBA guys can do their thing. Much bigger NBA slate, a lot more money in there, so you guys understand it. Again, comment. The guy that's going to get a hat trick tonight on this riveting 3-gamer, you will be entered in for a free Osmo.com NFL Premium membership for the rest of the season. It's completely free. Just like the video and comment who you think is going to get a hat trick. More to come as I do some more deep diving into some of the top players. I really want to spend more time doing that in my research before shows. So thanks for joining, guys, and Steve and I will be back tomorrow to tackle the bigger Thursday slate. Good luck. Don't forget to comment, and I will see you guys at the top.